What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Boys on the Mic. Today is episode 19, and we'll be talking about video game movies and shows that are finally working. We also have a little bit of a controversial topic at the end, but I don't want to give too much until we actually get there. I'm also joined by my co-hosts, Kausa and Noakas. How are you guys going today, guys?
Hey Rexy, what's up?
Hey Rex, thanks for the intro.
And
No
it's
problem.
quite early here. Well, also there because there's no daylight savings.
Same time zone, baby.
It's
Yeah,
actually
but
fantastic timing.
yeah.
Yeah, we
This
like shooting
episode-
these early in the morning so we can get this stuff out of the way and then
This
get on
We
with
episode-
live
our
our
lives.
own lives too because we do have a life.
Yeah, we are live.
Nah, but I love doing this, man. This is so much fun. I look forward to this every week, actually.
This episode is also being recorded on Anzac Day, so lest we forget,
Mm.
remember our brothers in arms.
Important to remember the history.
Video games in movies adaptations. It's a interesting topic. I've always been a bit I always have two sides to this. I like
bittersweet. Sorry.
bittersweet sour. Yeah, I love video games, but I sometimes I cannot support the movies that they come out with. Man, they're so bad that it's really hard to watch a lot of those movies.
It's always a risk, in your heart. You're like, oh, this is my favorite video game. Please make it good, director.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Usually, you look at who's sponsoring it.
Yeah,
and then
like-
the company, and you'd be like, oh, this might be good. This might be
Yeah.
good. The more money, the better production and animation.
Funny enough, who came with the idea of this episode? It was actually my partner, which she's not a gamer, and she's
Yeah.
sort of like she could watch some stuff with me, but she wouldn't watch it herself. So that's funny.
I guess
her view into the gaming movie world.
Yeah,
Trying
it's a
to-
good place for people to actually get into gaming. Like if you're not a gamer, then or even if you just don't want to actually game, but you want to be a part of it, that's a way that you can, join in.
And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I watch a show or a movie that is based on video games, it wants me to come back to the game.
We've done that
Exactly.
recently with Fallout. After watching
Yeah.
the last Fallout, we came back to Fallout 76. So
You see, it's like you already seen this, and you want to submerge yourself on what is the whole universe.
And
Yeah.
they definitely knew what they were doing because when they released Fallout, they also Amazon or Prime made all the Fallout games free. I've never actually played Fallout
Okay.
1 or 2, but I've finished Fallout 3 and 4.
Okay.
they're very old. So like graphically, you might have a hard time getting past that if you enjoy 3D graphics and things like that. I think it's isometric 2D. Yeah,
I
kind of
think-
like the old school Doom.
So we have a Fallout fan
Or
in the
Diablo,
house.
sorry. Fallout
Yes.
ban.
Yeah,
fan.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I thought you meant ban, as in no Fallout.
In previous episodes, I talked about how I actually enjoy post-apocalyptic games, where I talked about
Yeah.
Metro and stuff like that. So I do enjoy those type of games and seeing what it's sort of like in a world, or where you can imagine where the nuclear bomb drops and seeing what happens and how you survive and what sort of mutations have happened because of the radioactive,
the radiation. Yeah,
the gamma.
like in all these years, the main question has been like, would it be good if they make a movie about my favorite video game? And most of the times we got
I was gonna say Resident Evil. They already done that, bro. A lot. Or do you mean
Okay.
just in general?
just in general, like
Oh,
I wasn't talking about me specific.
Oh, yeah. Wow, you just shot the arrow straight to his heart there.
Yeah.
No, I was just surprised. I was just like, yeah, man, they make a lot of Resident Evil movies, man.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I haven't watched many of them. I watched them a long time ago, probably the first 2 or 3. But I think it's because there's the timeline, it's kind of blurred and stuff. And I did say like I prefer to play the games because has a continuity between the games. So that's my main issue when a game doesn't when game with the other one, which is meant to be the second or the sequel, it doesn't connect. It's like, man, like that's why you call it like the sequel, right? Like it's because you are continuing the story.
Yeah. Like if it wasn't, you wouldn't call it a sequel if it didn't. You just give it another title,
Yeah.
but from the same universe.
A lot of the times, when they do these adaptations, the story is already there, but it's when they try to change the date or the timeline and create their own stories, that's when there's a lot of like risk. I feel like there's such a big pressure on all the producers and developers for these movies because of the fan base of each game.
To be fair, it is my perspective. Some of them they don't take it that seriously. Like the ones that, let's say, did Hitman, Assassin's Creed, they just saw an opportunity. And I think I've seen somewhere that one of these directors got one of these movies from video games. He got the check and he said like, I'm gonna do this movie and I'm not gonna care about the whole critic. So he just took the envelope and ran away. Like he didn't
Take the
really
money,
care. Yeah.
Shall
anyways,
we run the intro?
Oh, run it.
Welcome to the Boys on the Mic, the one-stop audio and video experience where the worlds of gaming and technology collide. I'm Noakas, and I'm thrilled to be here with the dynamic duo, Kausa and Rex. How's it going, guys?
Hey Nowakas! Hey listeners! Kausa here. We're pumped to bring you another episode filled with the latest and the greatest in gaming and tech. No matter what kind of gamer you are or how tech savvy you might be, we got something just for you.
That's right, Rexy here, and we're stoked to have you join us. Whether you're a long-time listener or just discovering the podcast, you're in for a treat. We dive deep into all things gaming and tech, bringing you the news, reviews, and experiences from around the digital world.
And don't forget, if you love the vibe, hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. It helps more gamers and tech enthusiasts like you find our show. Follow us on Tech Trio Tales to stay in the loop and become part of our growing community.
Got a topic you want us to cover? Or you just want to share your latest gaming victory? Reach out to us on our socials or in the comment section. We love hearing from our listeners.
All right, team, gear up because it's time to jump into another epic episode. Let's revive, respawn, power up,
Well, welcome back, boys.
That was a soft approach this time. You changed it up.
Change it up, maybe.
It was almost as if like, oh, we have to run the intro.
Normally, I'm just in the middle of something and boom, I got
Before you can finish your sentence.
That's enough. You just wait, boom, bang.
Even when I've done the editing myself, like I've been just trying to cut that bit because it's like me saying like,
Yeah. Anyways, so this first topic, video games, adaptations. I think we're going to focus on just that. We were speaking about this just before the episode started. And, it's so difficult to narrow it down because there are so many links between comics and video games and movies and TV shows. So for this one, we're just going to focus on the video game adaptations where movies or TV shows were made based on a video game solely. And then I think for like decades, a lot of movies and TV shows had been released and they had attempted to try and create these worlds in cinema, but it hadn't really worked out. I think it was only until 2019 when they first started actually getting some respect, creating really good movies. The first one that I remember is the Pokemon Detective or Detective Pikachu. And a funny fact about that is my partner and I, Shay's first date. We actually went and saw that movie together. So there's a little
See, that's biased, man.
yeah,
That's
we
biased, man.
did. Why?
yeah,
Okay.
you're using emotions attached to that movie already. So
Yeah, that was the
biased.
best movie. Nah,
Yeah, it's already the best
it was
movie.
it was
Yeah,
all right.
yeah,
It's all right. It was all right. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. I can't remember what
Yeah.
happened, but yeah.
That was a time, I reckon, when the animation and the game came as one. But I still think like there were a lot of cool old movies as well. But 2019 was when it was like, wow, this is actually working.
It's when we saw Ryan Reynolds join a video game adaptation. Like a really respected and big actor come in and actually act in one of these movies, like an A-list actor. And also it was Nintendo's first movie back after they tried to make one in 1993. It was a Super Mario movie, and that movie, not very good. not very good at all.
Terrible. Yeah.
And then
I think it
yeah,
was 2 centuries, mate. So the
not
1993
not centuries, decades.
decade, sorry.
he's, he's already
Yeah.
thinking as a follow guy. Centuries
Yeah,
apart.
yeah. It was 200 years since the last movie.
They came out of the Nintendo came out of the vault and they were ready to try another time. But I think they definitely put all their resources into their gaming and sort of become what they are today instead of getting into the movie road.
And I think it was sorely missed when they weren't making movies, because a lot of their universes and things like that, they don't rely on like the best graphics. They actually have a very cartoon style that
Yeah.
would actually translate really well into movies. And after Detective Pikachu, then they released the Super Mario in 2023, which was
Sonic.
Sonic
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog's an interesting one because when they first released the first trailer, the Sonic looks so bad. Like he looked.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. Funny enough, I haven't watched it yet because
Yeah.
I said to myself, I want to watch all of them to see like how it goes. But when I remember that they released the photo of like Sonic, and everyone was like, "Who is this
What
guy?
is that? Yeah,
What they've
he
done with
looks
my Sonic?"
terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they had to redo the anime, the way he looked. I think it was.
But there's a key thing about that is that the community, the gaming community,
At least,
and just
yeah.
they gave feedback and they listened, and then they redid it, and now the Sonic looks like what he looks like in the games and all the cartoons and stuff as well.
Yeah, I remember his size was kind of like very small, and
And his
just the
nose
way
just looked.
yeah, it was a mess. Poor guy. He just was trying just to be funny and good for the kids.
They try to make him look realistic. That's where they were like, nah, bro, he just looks weird. Like he didn't have these, like his eyes weren't big. They were like this, and this was like sort of like
His
cheeks,
cheeks.
his cheeks were like so realistic. Like they were like, nah, bro,
More like a
get that out of
human,
here.
humanized
Just like
Sonic.
yeah, like a realistic Sonic, like too realistic that they were like.
I've always found that when they try to take like a fictional character and then make it look really real, it never works out well.
Yeah,
just
like
make it look like a cartoon.
Yeah, like Homer Simpson. If you put it in the real life, like it looks. Have you seen? There's some artists that normally try to do that, like the cartoons. They put it on humanized version of them. Yeah, they look terrible. Marge like has a huge afro. Yeah,
a blue afro. Like you show that
blue
person,
afro.
like can make anyone's head turn. Like, damn.
Yeah,
I seen the old lady the other day. She was rocking a pink hair, bright pink, and I was like, bro, that's cool. But if I see an old lady with a blue afro, I'll be like, what happened?
It's funny how you never question those things as well. Like you could have a cartoon character that has yellow skin and blue hair, and it looks normal. You're just like, yeah, no worries. And you, at the moment you try to make that a live action or realistic, it's like, no, man, that looks so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, but think about, put it in perspective. Like we have the good ones and the bad ones, and seems like they are worried now about more the storytelling, which is where it's been lacking, because I think just by the name they thought that they could get like big audience coming in to watch it and appreciate it. But
they do get the big audience, but they don't get the appreciation.
It's like, but in reality, they don't appreciate it, and they have a lot of hate because they haven't taken the time to build part of the universe. And I think, let's say, Follow that as a good example. Like I haven't played the games, but I already feel that they are building something much bigger than the show.
Yeah. They just recently released new updates on Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. Yeah.
And it's also building a larger fan base that don't even game. Like Rex was saying that our mother watched it and she loved it. She thought it was really good. It was just surprising because she doesn't play video games, and she's, I would almost say she's like anti-video games in some ways.
I guess before her
you
time.
have to hide when you have to play at home.
Nah, we don't hide, but she's just like, what are you doing?
We did. Yeah. I used to hide.
Actually, yeah.
Maybe no wax because you're a bit older than Rexy. You
Yeah.
have to hide, and you set up like, okay, video
Yeah.
games are not too bad now.
Mm,
But in the past, it's hard to hide because we only had desktops. So you're carrying around this big desktop. Like, how can you? It's not like a PlayStation where you can go like this, where it's like you got
it's
like
more like
a.
it's more like I was like playing games at like midnight, and then my mom would come in and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" And I'd be like, "Uh oh, I'm
Yeah.
sleepy
I'm asleep.
on the
Yeah.
chair."
My hands just floated to the keyboard, mom, and the screen turned on.
Funny enough, now you used to pretend that you were sleeping, and now you fall asleep while you game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's-
Yeah, but speaking of storytelling, like one of the latest TV series that came out that did it really well, I think, because the game did such a good job, is The Last of Us.
yeah.
yeah.
And that it followed the story as well. Like,
I feel like that video
and
game was done so well that it translated to a TV series really well.
The Last
Yeah.
of Us fun here. Yeah, I play all the games.
to talk
Yeah.
about it, Mike.
Come on, man, tell us
Oh.
more.
So yeah, I will say that was a risky move because they followed the storyline of the game, and even that you've seen some of the scenes, even if you could predict some stuff, they still have their own way to do it, and I think just I don't know, like just the word that they created feels real, which
Yeah.
in the games, like basically this is a kind of game that the gameplay feels so good, and at the same time you have incredible cinematics that are telling a story.
Yeah.
So I think in this case you don't have the gameplay, of course, but you do have the storytelling, and I think that they did a great job. And
Yeah, they
as a
definitely
fan,
do.
I do appreciate that shows like this come out anytime. Like it's just like also think about it. It's not rare to see in a post-apocalyptic show or there's zombies, but this has their own spin. But if you want to do something more unrealistic, like God of War, that's tricky already. Like just because of
Mm,
the character itself.
Yeah, that's expensive, man. That's what I see.
Mm, yeah,
yeah.
Like
a
bringing
lot of
something like that
CGI.
to life. Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to mention was I forgot to say was that they use the Easter eggs of all the different games to sort of bring in the fan base as well. And that's something you could definitely see in The Last of Us. Like when you're watching it and you're like, oh fuck, I remember that place. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And they're
yeah,
able to bring it alive.
yeah.
I think the one place that I remembered in Last of Us was when they're going towards that building
Mhm.
and they're like they
The
finally arrived at that.
observatory.
Yeah, and they finally
Yeah,
arrive at the destination where he's been trying to
yeah,
take her this whole time.
yeah,
And
yeah, 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 yeah.
just the front of that building, hey, when you see it, you're
Man,
like,
yeah,
that's that
yeah,
building.
yeah. That's so good because like technically those buildings are like they basically landmarks in the game. So every time
Yeah,
that you
Mm,
reach to a checkpoint, I'll say
yeah,
it's part of like you start digging around the area, and that's how also they put it in the show.
yeah,
yeah.
But I think the tension in the show was also there. Like it's where
Oh
you
yeah.
already know that you're reaching to the destination, but build
yeah.
all these around it.
Oh, and the clickers as well, like the realism of like when
Yeah, that
it's like
was
you could feel it, like
Yeah.
when they were like trying to hide it, it's like
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
Oh no.
gosh, bro.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there was that episode about those two guys as well. They were
Ah
like
yes. That was out of that was didn't came from the game.
yeah.
That had a bit of controversial opinions. I
Mhm.
really like it because it was
Same, yeah.
like
I thought that was probably the best episode I've seen in a TV series.
yeah, it's just
Oh,
the
the
thing is like the storytelling in
yeah,
behind. Like no, they just don't put a character there. They also bring all what it's about
the
them. That
backstory of the
yeah, the
yeah,
Mm.
couple,
backstory.
yeah,
Yeah, and
Because
they
I think
link it.
yeah, like there is one guy that is there, the guy who created like that house, right? And then
Bunker. Yeah.
he's the bunker, and then he's actually in the game, and then they take that character and then they just run with the story and they
Mm,
expand it. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like that one was really good.
yeah,
Yeah. And the way they link it, that was also cool because linking
Mm.
part of the stories where like Joe is working Joel is walking somewhere, and then they have to see each other. Sometimes it doesn't quite work because it's like, oh, you're pushing me another character. I know what you're doing. No?
I think as well, like so sort of like back to what the crux of this episode is about is like how video game adaptations have gone from like kind of terrible to really good.
Like Super
And
Mario Bros.
yeah,
Maybe
Super
just
Mario
had like
Bros.
had a picture of Super Mario Bros. Seriously, I'm
How
pretty
many
sure recently
how many
they've
times you watched that
done
one?
a. I've never watched it, man. That's how bad it
The one
is.
in 1993.
I searched it up, and
No,
they
not
did
that
like a
one.
4K. They remastered it in 4K. So if you guys want to go
Wow.
check out the original Mario Bros. Before the other one, go ahead, man. Oh my god.
Suit yourself.
But I would say like one of the reasons why I think as well the video game adaptations are doing so well at the moment. It's a good point out that the movies and the TV series are slightly different ways of showing those stories, and the TV series I think personally have been doing a lot better than the movies because they have more time to explain and flesh
Yeah.
out the stories, which is kind of like what a video game is like. They're not just, you can't just play a video game for 1 hour and finish and complete the story 1 or 2 hours. It has to be multiple hours, and I think that's why TV series that have the right budget, and also this is another point I wanted to make, is that the directors and also the people, the actors actually understand the universes, and they have some sort of idea of what these video games are, whether they've played them, whether they're fans of them, or maybe before the movie they actually picked up the game and had a game, and so they know what the universe is like. They're not just coming in there without any perspective.
Yeah. And I think that's another cool point to add is that there's already a lot of culture and a lot of history in the actual game before they make it. So learning that makes it more enjoyable to create and also watch.
There is a caveat to that as well, Rexy, and you mentioned this as well. The actual guy who does the ghoul in Fallout purposely didn't
He didn't play.
yeah. That's also, directors actually sometimes tell their actors not to engage with the source material because what it does is it makes them easier to direct. They're not influenced by anything.
They put in like they are not. They can do stuff outside of the box, not because imagine if they look at a character and they say the ghoul is like this, so I need to fall into this category.
Yeah.
But I think they unleash all these skills when they've been given something that they can also sort of mold, but with their
Make
own.
their own.
Yeah.
And I think is it Walton Goggins? He definitely played
Walton Goggins.
the ghoul was probably one of my favorite characters in Fallout.
100%.
Yeah.
Like he did it so well. The fact that he didn't play the game sort of made it so that he could make that character his own, and man, it was awesome.
He owns it. I already want to buy a Funko Pop.
You can see the seriousness in Kelso's eyes. He's ready to pull the trigger.
Yeah, in Fallout, like the ghouls weren't really the main characters, though they didn't have. So they had a big play in it, but they weren't as big. So having this ghoul in this movie sort of been highlighted
But
as one of
the
main
way
characters
they
is so
link
cool.
characters in the show, it was amazing. Like it's
Yeah.
like you start with one story, then you have another story, then you have another one, and they put it all together.
Man, the first episode, man, by golly, that was crazy. Like it hooked you, man.
That's the start. Yeah.
Yeah, the start was they did it really well.
Oh, and also on the flip side, though, Ella, who we all like, she played the video game. So and she said that she felt like when she was actually putting on the suit, the costume for the movie, she's like, oh, it felt like I was dressing up as my avatar in the game or character in the game.
Yeah. I think she did her avatar as her own. Like she basically copied
herself.
Yeah, herself.
Yeah, and a little fun fact is that she does the voice of the main lady in Arcane as well, which was another
also a good show.
Yeah, video game adaptation. So yeah, that's 2 for 2 for Ella. Nice work.
2 for 2. Yeah. Excited to see what's next with I think did they confirm season 2 with New Vegas recently?
They
Not
led into it,
sure.
right?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
I've seen a poster about it, but
yeah,
it's like, man, that's cool.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, sorry, spoiler alert.
Boo.
Sorry, another cool game that I'm not sure if you guys sorry, a movie adaptation was Doom. That's what I was
Ah,
saying. Like, you know how you're like in 2019, like, man, I remember watching Doom and saying, bro, that's cool. Because the Doom game was such a cool game, and I think Dwayne Johnson did a really good job in that movie.
I haven't watched that
I
one.
haven't seen.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen Doom? Oh
Nah.
Yeah,
man.
not the
It's good,
movie.
bro.
Like,
It
yeah,
came out in 2005.
I still
But it was,
like.
man, I'm pretty sure you've watched Doom, Tor, man. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, bro. If I've watched it, you watch it.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Now that you say it, yeah. Nah,
Really, like,
I
because
had a flashback.
I think he plays like I don't know, a soldier or something, and
Yeah.
he dies, and then he gets injected by something, and he comes back to life, and it goes into like the Doom sort of
The first person. Yeah.
first person where, and he's just like boom, 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 and it's
The
so
8-bit.
cool. Yeah,
That's probably something as well to mention is that a lot of the game adaptations in the 2000s and the 90s, they were really focused around action or
yeah,
Mm,
horror. They didn't really try to go too much into the story. I think it was very surface level stuff. Like video games are
yeah,
about action. They kind of didn't really try
this,
to
yeah.
touch the story too much. They're just like, this is a simple premise. We're going to make an action movie, like you said, Kausa. Let's just make it, take the bag, and next one.
Doom, Mortal Kombat,
Yeah,
Lara Croft, they're all action, all fighting.
Yeah.
yeah,
All
I
and
remember
also,
Angelina Jolie. Sort
yeah,
of stuff.
and also in the 1990s and the 2000s, a lot of the video game adaptations were dominated by two directors, Ube Boll and Paul W.S. Anderson. And yeah, let's just say a lot of it felt like it was low effort.
Ooh, shots fired. Toot, toot,
Yeah.
toot.
I like grew up with a lot of Paul W.S. Anderson's movies, you know, the Resident Evil
Yeah.
and some of their movies, Mortal Kombat as well. Ube
Was
Ball,
Mortal
man.
Kombat any good?
Mortal Kombat, it's like I would call it like it's like almost like a parody of the video game.
Okay, like a scary movie.
Yeah, like that. I think they were serious, but in the movie it was just
Ah,
not
I,
just kind of
I didn't
funny.
watch it. Yeah, is that the last one? The one that came like probably I
Yeah.
don't know 6 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. And there was like the Aussie, he's Kano. That
Yes,
was one
yes,
of
yes.
them.
I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that one, but there's many other ones that he made as well. Like that was just one of many.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, the
and
last one was alright. Like the story was like probably not the strongest point, but the fighting and
okay, and this is Uwe Boll's movies. Let me just mention these movies, and you put your hand up if you've seen any of these movies. Okay,
All right,
okay.
hit us.
House of the Dead,
No.
Alone in the Dark,
No.
Dungeon Siege,
What the hell, bro?
Blood,
These titles.
Blood Rain,
The
No.
Rain.
Far
Are you
Cry.
are you using ChatGPT to create the names?
No, these are video games like Far Cry. He made a movie of Far Cry.
Oh, Far Cry.
You watch it?
That would have came out quite
Yep.
a long time ago, right?
Postal, yeah, 1990s. So this guy basically made a whole bunch of these video game adaptations, largely due to a German tax loophole that he, got through.
You
And
bastard.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so he basically was like creating these movies because he could. And this guy is like Ube, what's his name? Ube Boll. He would have these big rants. He would leave on like when the Pet Pikachu Detective came out, he left like all of these 1-star reviews and like just basically slamming the movie. Like it was so obvious it was him. And then another thing that he does is like he'll call out any of his critics and he'll challenge them to a boxing match. He He will wanna. He's like, basically, don't use an alias. Use your real name and your address, so I can come and fight you.
Holy moly!
Yeah, he's
A
like, I'll
serious
find
man,
you.
bro.
Yeah,
This guy should create a real Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, like, and I think once the video game adaptations kind of moved away from those two directors, we started getting a bit more variety. People who actually really like the games and understand them, like we are talking about
Yeah.
before. I think the quality is raised, and also I think a lot of people now are actually respecting video games as video game adaptations as a mediums, and video games for that matter as well.
Yeah.
I think people who don't play video games are watching these movies and actually realizing that, oh, the story in video games is good. Also, the other side to it is that can make good movies out of video game stories.
Yeah. I definitely think another thing to mention is the actual technology has gotten a
Yeah.
lot better to create these movies, like to bring them to life.
The
Like, we
CGI,
talked
yeah.
about- yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they use Unreal Engine or whatever, but it's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, like the right tools are there. It's just like probably they weren't used properly. That's the thing. Even the games I've done by
Oh, yeah.
actors. Like you have the actors that actually
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
yeah, so technically in each game that have storytelling, they actually using all these already. And
Last
it's
Jedi.
The Last Jedi, it's like the actual actor was impersonating his own character, Cal Kestis, I think.
And
Every
what's
time
the
I see,
Jedi?
every time I see that guy, I think of
American Horror Story. Oh no, that's
no,
another.
no. The family one.
Yeah, I know the guy you're
Ah,
talking about. He
yes.
was on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but you mean the funny movie, the comedy show, the comedy
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
No
The one-
regrets. I know
The
that
one where the dad is like he's got like 7 or 8 kids.
Yeah, that's a funny one. Yeah,
Anyways, yeah.
yeah. But
I don't
know
see
what
the
you mean.
Jedi. I always see him from that movie.
But I think is he the same guy?
Oh wait, what movie are you talking about, Rex? What's it called?
He's-
Cheaper by the Dozen.
What?
Cheaper by the Dozen.
Wait,
I'm trying to guess the movie that you're talking about.
Nah, it's like a series. Dysfunctional Family. No, not Modern Family.
no, that's another one. Yeah, because that now you got me intrigued by the guy's name,
Come on,
Cameron.
Rex. You gotta come prepared to these things.
I don't
Hey
think he's
man,
the
I
same
didn't
guy.
realize I was gonna talk about this. You reckon?
I don't think he's the same guy. Yeah.
What's the guy's name?
The guy from the Jedi, it's Cameron Monaga. And the one that you're saying is also in Maze Runner, which is Adam Warlock in Guardians of Galaxy. Adam Warlock.
Cameron
Are
Monaga.
they-
Yes.
Are they
Let me
making a
find-
movie of The Last Jedi?
Of the Last Jedi, not confirmed. There's on the talks. They trying to, I don't know. Remember we talked about before where the little robot BD1 was also on, I think, the Boba Fett, the TV show. So
Or they were
I think
teasing
they're
that?
they're teasing sort of like the
I found it.
idea of, but they haven't said anything.
So he comes from a series called Shameless. Watch that
Mm.
series.
Mm.
That's where I can't get my head out of. And another person that also features in Shameless is Bear from the series Bear, or Chef,
Yeah.
or whatever his name is.
So the guy that you were talking, he was actually the same guy from Cameron.
Cameron Monaga, whatever his name is.
I thought you
Look
were
up a
talking
series
about,
called Shameless, because he
Yeah,
does he's the actor for Jedi, the new one, right?
yes, yeah.
That's
The
every
two-
time I
the
see him, that's
two
what I see.
sequel, yeah. I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about the guy from the Millers, which is the guy from Adam Warlock from the Guardians of Galaxy.
Yeah, I was
what-
seeing that guy too. Yeah.
Yeah. In my mind, I was like, that's not the same guy, but they kind of similar.
Yeah, it's a crazy series. If anyone hasn't watched Shameless, if you're like a crazy dysfunctional family that's just everywhere, then I definitely recommend
Okay.
that series. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a good series. I think there's like 10 or 12 seasons, so they must have been doing something right.
and you
Yeah.
guys normally question for you guys. Do you guys normally watch just shows, live action shows or movies, or also watch like cartoon video game, like, oh well, you watch Arcane, but sort of like that style. Do you also
Yeah,
watch that?
I really enjoyed Edge Runners,
Oh
Cyberpunk
well,
Edge
that was a
Runners.
good
Yeah,
one. Just the
Mm.
yeah,
soundtrack itself could be, it's just
yeah,
legendary.
yeah. I
Yeah.
actually like this is the thing. Like I bought the game after I watched that anime.
Okay. I think
Yeah,
you convinced me. Yeah, you said like,
yeah,
oh, you watched the show, and I at that time I didn't watch it yet, and
Mhm.
I said, yeah, I'll do it, I'll do it, and then one day I pulled the trigger, and it was amazing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like that's another benefit as well. Is like for gamers who are on the edge, like they haven't played a game that, or like they haven't played the game that they're watching. They might convince them to
Mm.
play it. Like I guarantee, like if you have a Red Dead Redemption movie or something like that, like I'd probably pick up the game and play it
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I hadn't played it before. I
Especially
have,
now that
but
all those games are in sale and very cheap.
yeah,
So
yeah,
That's
not
like
much to lose.
they made Angry Birds. Remember Angry Birds? And they made the animations for that as well. That's a pretty crack up one. I think
My
Sony
brother
did
used
that.
to watch all of those.
I remember used to playing Angry Birds.
Angry
I
Birds.
think it was
Yeah,
on towards
And it
towards
was a
South
big
Point.
thing. Everyone had that on their phones, I guess, at some point.
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah,
it was like the game to have. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like. I'm still thinking of like the animations, like.
I can actually hear the sound if I think about Angry Birds. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember putting some time into it. It was one of those cell phone games that like, yeah, bro.
yeah.
So just to sort of like sum up everything, I think what we were saying is that there's a difference between the movies and the TV series.
Yep.
When people started respecting video games a bit more, it also attracted bigger actors, things like that. And when the directors changed and they started taking it more seriously, you know, all of these boxes started getting ticked, and then you can almost pinpoint it to like maybe 2019 when that Pikachu detective, sorry, came out. It's like the quality just ramped up. Now we're in a position where the TV series are doing so well, the movies are doing well as well. I mean, some of the video game movies that are coming out are Borderlands is coming out. You know, that one looks pretty cool. That's got Kevin Hart, one of the largest or biggest comedians.
Yeah. Well,
In
the
the
trailer
world.
looks pretty interesting. Like it was,
Yeah.
I think they had the style and everything. So need to
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
that one too.
And that video game, it has a lot of personality. It actually relies heavily on its comedy.
Comedy and sarcasm
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just blowing everything up.
There you go. So they pick up someone that is the right character to
Mm.
Yeah.
impress.
So those are my takeaways from it. Is like, you know, when they started listening to fans and
Yeah.
actually making the video games more about the story rather than just focusing on the action side or the horror side. You know, they moved away from those low effort adaptations and started putting more effort into it. I think those are the reasons why it got better. Do you guys have any sort of thoughts to add on to that?
I think overall the landscape of video games movies is improving really a lot. You know, a lot of these adaptations are learning to capture the spirit of the games through practical action, humor, and self-awareness. Yeah. So I think I'm excited, and you know, just keep up the good work. Check out Fallout if anyone hasn't watched it, bro. That's a cool series.
Recommend that one. I would recommend that one. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But probably from my takeaway from today, I will say I'm still a skeptic when I see a new movie coming up based on video games.
Yeah.
I'm
I understand that.
yeah, especially if it's something about that I actually care, because
Yeah.
I'm not a die-hard fan where I complain and I'll just if it's not good, it's not good. That's it. But like you could actually, when you see a trailer that does a good job, just a
Mm.
trailer itself, like you say, like, okay, we're in safe hands. you know that they're doing what you expect out of that specific game. So my takeaway will be basically keep them coming, like keep trying to develop stories, more universe, like do what Marvel did at the in the good old times where everything is interconnected. I know that it's not easy, but that's what the true fan wants. Like they want
Mm.
continuity, like something that they can look forward to. And as a massive fan of video games, I will say like no matter what, I think now you can create a story out of everything. Even we saw Barbie. Like, what would you expect
Yeah.
out of a Barbie movie? Like, that's a good example. And then Margaret Robbie is thinking about Monopoly, Sims, stuff like there's no storytelling already, so they have open arms to like they can create anything.
Yeah, no established story. Yeah,
That's
and I think like that's a good point. Like, you know, if you're gonna deliver a good trailer, that's almost like a promise to all the fans out there. So as long as they keep delivering like how they are, I think it's gonna go in a positive way.
That's cool, man. I'm glad we talked about that. That's really awesome. All right, the controversial topic today. Essentially, it's about a 22-year-old man who was trolling online, and I'm not going to say his name, but he was
It's illegal,
we're not gonna name card.
Oh, but his
Was it
name's already been released. Name and shame.
Yeah, his name's already been released. He's actually from Brisbane, so that's what I'll say. There was
It's
a
relative,
AI,
Brisbane.
yeah, so now they're using AI to sort of help fight these trolls that are online, especially when they get to the point where it gets quite serious.
No more keyboard
And
warriors.
yeah, this actually happened during the World Cup between Samoa and England, and the World Rugby Federation is using an AI system employed where they can track.
What's it called, Rexy? Tell us what it's called.
I remember finding the name somewhere. Hold on, guys.
Is it threat meter? Is it threat meter?
ThreatMetrix.
ThreatMextrix. Sorry.
Yeah, so they have this system where they're able
Do our
to
research.
identify and track abusive messages being sent to the actual person. So in this reference, it's a referee, and he was also sending message to the family members of this referee. So this man was getting pretty hectic, and I don't think anyone who's experienced, I can't say that I've personally experienced that, but I would definitely
Harassment. It'd be
take it
scary.
personally. It'd be scary, man. Exactly. Anyways, this man was found by this AI system, ThreatMetrix, and he was actually taken to court, and he was given a fine of $1,000 and a 12-month good behavior bond for sending these messages, which makes me think, like, do you guys think that's a fair enough sort of punishment? Or
So the thing I think the thing as well to mention is that he was prosecuted, but he didn't get a criminal record for it. He just got a fine and community work. So there's nothing that'll be permanently on his record, which I think I actually think that that's okay. But also, yeah, it's kind of hard, isn't it? Like freedom of speech, but then also when it's a threat, that's not okay.
Well, he actually was, threatening his wife through sexual violence, and this man actually, that is not okay. And he actually revealed where they live. So in that respect, yep.
Yeah, how did he find all those informations out? Like,
man, I'm not too sure, but man, the online world, bro. But ThreatMetrix got you, so trolling isn't appreciated now. And I was thinking, like, bro, what about in video games, man? Like some of the community.
You get saying if you're going to the gaming
Call of Duty
community
lobby.
Yeah, like bro, there's so many trolls. Like,
but you seen that they've been trying to put out like AIs on the game so they can just spot these too.
Yeah, but the Rugby Federation is really cracking down on this because of that, and I hope that they can sort of be a role model for other sports. It's like, I'm pretty sure soccer and that, like, the amount of times, like, for some reason they always blame the ref, like whenever they're sad, they're like, the ref.
Yeah, I'm sure Nick probably was
thinking
about sending some messages when Peru lost to Australia.
Let's not talk about that.
Whoa, shots fired today, man. Coming down on Gaza. It's all right,
Just
guys.
put
It's
a
just
little-
fun.
You're the ghoul today.
You got problems back
Yeah.
here too, sweetheart.
That
Yeah.
really, in reality, that could happen in rugby, but soccer, football, for me, like it's man, these guys they get paid money to actually rig the match. So
Oh,
yeah,
it's
I
Oh,
personal.
that's deeper.
It's personal.
yeah, there's a whole mafia. Like it's like this is not an episode to uncover the mafia, but these
Okay,
guys
okay.
like they
Are you
get paid so.
undercover?
Okay. Well, yeah. That, I mean, like that technology is awesome, and like it's also funny because Rex and I are both Samoans. So when we heard that this guy is, first of all, he's from Brisbane and he's Samoan, we're like, damn, what's wrong with this guy? And I was like, Rex, was that you?
Yeah.
Was that you sending those messages?
I'm not 22 years old, man.
I gotta say though, that call that ref did was terrible, but I don't think it warranted.
Ooh, they used to send messages.
Yeah. And apparently he was under the influence.
Oh, come on.
So that was another excuse.
that was
But
yeah. It was
if
like
you're under the bro, that doesn't give you the excuse, man. If you
the guy
can
that was
find
sending
the
the messages, not the
Yeah.
referee.
Ah,
Not
yeah,
the
it was
referee,
like the
sorry.
referee. Okay, that thing.
sorry, we're back to the person that's on the trial right here.
Yeah.
And yeah, that doesn't I don't think that's a good enough excuse. Like if you're able to find all this information while you're drunk, then you're definitely sane in your brain.
Yeah.
But that was his defense. Yeah, he's like, I was intoxicated, and you're like, yeah, well,
I was
you found a lot of
intoxicated. I was a
information
passionate
really
lover
easily.
of my country's team.
Yeah, but I think that's great because, like, you know, honestly, like keyboard warriors, man, they're just like, you know, they're just
Yeah, like
know.
I can guarantee you, man, like if there was a keyboard warrior and he said something bad about me, I'd be like, all right, bro, meet me in person. He'd be a different person.
yeah. But in the first place, if you wouldn't make those threats in real life, you shouldn't make those threats online. Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel like
You're not
people
gonna
just
stand on business, bro. If you're not gonna stand on your word, bro, don't be
Yeah.
standing in the keyboard, man.
What are your comments on like creating an alias, online alias, and like a fake alias, and sort of like it spread the hate? Like it's your alias
I
that.
think there's a movie about that actually with the guy from Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe.
Mhm.
I forgot what it's called, but basically he creates like a troll account online and
Mhm.
he just trolls and he loves it and but then somebody finds him and then he gets put into this tournament where he has to kill other people and he gets 2 Uzis attached to his hands, and if he tries to remove it, he's got a bomb in the back of his head that explodes. So he has missions. He has to kill people like every
Whoa,
I don't
bro,
know 24 hours.
You've gone down a hole right there, bro. You went down that
Yeah.
hole.
Holy moly! What is that?
Yeah.
That's
Like,
hectic.
Yeah,
Well, I
man,
was like, okay, bro.
Yeah, man,
That sounds like a crazy movie.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's a movie
coming-
that's meant to be like a video
Coming
game.
back,
Yeah.
trolling and doing stuff like this is definitely not appreciated, and I do think that the ThreatMetrix will be seeing more of it, and it's very good, you know, especially for people that are professionals and doing what they're doing. They don't need the backlash of this as well.
You also
Well,
missed Kausa's question about the
Oh.
about how do you think creating like aliases and then just trolling people. I think that like it's fine as long as you're not threatening people, you know. If
Hmm.
you're just having a bit of
Revealing-
fun,
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Revealing
I
their
think-
address.
yeah, all that stuff, hell no. You can get charged $1,000 for that. But if it's just like if you're just having fun and everybody can tell, like trolling is actually fun when it's not aggressive or threatening.
When it's joking.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure, like, you know, a thing in Australia, banter,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
in the world, you know, that's a common thing. Like it's funny. You
Mm.
always do it with your friends.
You troll
if
your
it-
mates. It's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the fun line. Like you can make all the jokes that you want, but then when you cross the line,
Yeah.
and like threat someone, that's
Yeah.
where you should say.
I think it's the
Yeah,
moment
I
when you
think-
take it personally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you actually threaten somebody with some sort of physical violence or sexual violence,
Yeah.
no, the AI is gonna find you and they're gonna sue you.
Watch out, trolls. You gotta watch your mouth, all right?
And those about seems like pretty cheap way to find
Police it,
someone
yeah.
for.
$1,000. Oh,
Yeah.
you mean like cheap way, like using AI?
No. I mean, like, it's a very cheap way to get out of this situation. Like,
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the severity. Like if you threaten somebody and the threats are really bad, and then you followed up with some actual actions, because
Mm.
at this point, yeah, it's not. It's just words, but that
mm.
doesn't take away the how people feel about it and
But
everything as well.
think about, there's a repercussion of him giving the
Yes.
referee's address, and
Mhm.
that could put him on danger. And not necessarily it does something to him directly, but someone else could,
Yeah,
just
Exactly.
because
very
of
true.
that. So
Someone
they,
more dangerous than him, than the keyboard
yeah,
warrior, like a guy that can actually stand on business.
the
I
ghoul.
wonder what that guy felt like when he was like actually got a knock on his door from the police. It's like,
Yeah.
mate, did you send this message? And he's like, oh, come on. Oh, mate. Yeah, I was really drunk that night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a sense of embarrassment
Remorse.
and
Yeah.
remorse. But at the same time, we
Sometimes,
don't know
yeah.
how he acted.
He-
We don't know if he was
Yeah.
remorseful or whatever. But
Probably he
Mm.
was totally opposite. He was violent, and
yeah,
he just said like, "No, man, like, how do you know? How do you know? This is personal. Like, you're stalking me." Like, he could have gone
Mm.
all the other way.
What's your
I
thoughts on that, Kelso, about the creating the aliases and just trolling?
This is, for me, it's a fact. Everyone has an alias online.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I will say you can create as many accounts, Instagram accounts as you want, Twitter or whatever. Now X. Yeah.
Mhm.
But the main issue it always been, how do you use that? And I think
Mm.
you say something key, which is, will you if it's something that you do in real life, will you do it also at your socials? And
Mm.
it's more like, kind of like, it's not trying to be a perfect example, but it's kind of, you also want to be treated as you want to be treated. So I
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
think, in a way, like, okay, you can have an alias, you can make jokes, trolleys, that's fine. Like, I think everyone
Yeah.
does that at some point.
Yeah.
But when you cross that line, I think that's where you should be penalized. I'm saying, like, criminal records, it could be part of it at some point, and I wouldn't be
Mm.
against it, because there's more repercussions that people don't see when they go further down the road where they share stuff online. Especially
exactly.
people that it's very public. So
Mm.
technically,
They're
imagine the
taking a risk.
referee, yeah,
Yeah.
imagine the referee goes down somewhere, walking down the street, and because they know where he lives, he's always been like, feel like haunted.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
um
The mental
so
side of it. Yeah.
yeah,
Do
so
you
there's a
think
lot
that
of things like that.
the penalty of it is like enough, or
For me, it's not enough
Yeah.
in the
Sentence of
way it
death.
happened. Yeah.
I know in New Zealand they're bringing back the 3 strike rule, and essentially is when you have the 3 of the same offenses and you go to prison, they throw away the key essentially.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
how.
maybe they could do a similar thing with ThreatMetrix.
Yeah,
Mm.
because
If you yeah
I think everything should be punished with the severity as it is already when you commit a crime outside
yeah
in the world.
mm,
So I think that we should also set up some rules, boundaries in the internet. We already have,
Yeah.
but I think the more that they happen, sometimes it's hard to spot them until something happens. So
Well, one of
I
the
think we're,
problems with the internet is that you have people from all over the world, right? And it's hard
yeah.
to prosecute somebody in a different country. But this threat matrix seems to be able to alert the local authorities, and then they can handle it.
I wonder if they'll bring it into gaming.
I think that they already are doing that. Like, there's some
Oh
AIs that are
yeah,
going through the latest Call of Duty. I believe they can kick
they
you if
banned them,
you're
eh?
being
Perma banned
toxic.
them.
They go through the stages of like the mic being muted, and then if they have a couple of strikes, then yeah, they can risk their account being banned just from being toxic.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like that. That's also difficult. Like, what is exactly toxic? If
That's
you're,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
and it needs to
it's
be
like using
handled
a
by a
specific word.
human.
Yeah,
Yeah, it needs to be handled by a human. Like if you just have an AI program just waiting for certain keywords, like you know, that's
It's not
context is
gonna work.
everything.
Yeah.
It's not going to understand context. It's not going to understand those deeper meanings of words. Like
It's
like
like
if you say puta de madre, like it's like
the classic joke. Yeah, the classic joke that Rexy doesn't like. Yo, mama, like, oh, ban.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, when they're using AI, it only learns what we teach. So historically, it's learning from us. So it'll
Yeah.
identify what we as humans identify as bad. So,
Mhm.
but
But
even
sometimes
then,
it's
like,
context.
it might
Because if
be
I'm
hard
talking with
to.
my mate,
Yeah, you're just playing around, and then all of a sudden you can get banned.
Yeah, and every person's different, every culture's different. So maybe AI might be racist as well. Historically, like you don't know, but it's
No,
not
it
its
actually
fault.
it has been like they actually changed the settings on ChatGPT because it was too like whitewashed,
yeah.
and then
Yeah,
they
because
changed it, but then it went the other way. It was like, oh, give me like
anti-racist.
it was like they had all these like photos. They're like, oh, dude, give me like a painting of like America in like 1970s, and they had like just all these different ethnicities. Like it was
But
too
full on.
much. Yeah, it wasn't accurate.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's also I think a very important topic with AI.
yeah.
Yeah,
It only
it's
knows what it's being taught, but once it breaks the barrier, like I said, a couple episodes where it can think for itself and learn from itself and create new
Mm.
things, then it might be able to, I don't know, create an artificial profile where it can differentiate this stuff and maybe be able to prosecute people fairly.
I think
yeah,
that's the key.
As a people.
Fairness.
yeah,
Fairness,
fairness. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was deep,
Agreed.
bro. I went into that. Yeah, approved.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can do the outro now.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Yeah. We'll see you on the next episode.
Of the boys of the mic.
Thank you guys for tuning in into episode 19 with the boys on the mic. Today we discuss about TV shows and movies that are based on video games. We have a great discussion about how we think they are doing at the moment and when was the time that the movies started doing well comparing the old movies that we didn't like. We also want to know what you guys think was the break point when movies start getting better based on video games. And the last topic, a bit of controversial topic that Rex bringing us today, which is about whether trolling or harassing online should be banned or should have more penalties. So thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you like this content, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.